I'm Isha. I am an IELTS and a PTE instructor here in Darwin, Australia. But I take classes globally online. So if you're interested, you can contact on this number that I've mentioned over here. And also I will be mentioning my number in the description box. Along with that, I will be mentioning my Facebook, my Instagram and my YouTube video links as well, just in case if you're interested. Let me just start with today's video, but I'll give you a little bit of introduction. I have been teaching IELTS and PTE back in India from past 3 years, and I have taught hundreds of students. They were able to get good scores in their first attempt. So if you are also interested to learn about IELTS and PTE, I will be there to help you out no matter whatever your condition is, no matter whatever your English level or proficiency level is. And also in my today's video, I am basically starting with a series where I will be teaching about the different topics of PTE. So let's just start with the most important part of PTE, that is repeat sentences. And like this video, if you haven't done it already, to just appreciate my efforts and subscribe to this channel, because I will be coming up with lots and lots of new and informative content. Alright. So let's just see, when we talk about PTE, in PTE the most important topic is of repeat sentences, and this is the topic which is considered as tough as well. Many students, they face difficulty in doing basically this particular module, which is repeat sentences. So now let's discuss that how is speaking divided. When I talk about speaking, the speaking is particularly divided into two sections. Section 1 and Section 2. When we talk about Section 1 is about personal introduction, which is of somewhere around 1 minute. Even if this is not marked, you can speak whatever you want to speak, but this is not marked, so you're not going to get any points for it. And then they're going to talk about the second section, which is Section 2, that will be of 30 to 35 minutes. And in that Section 2, you will be getting the questions of read aloud, repeat sentences, describe image, retell lecture, and answer short questions. In total, the complete PTE is having 20 different types of questions, and we will be discussing all these types of questions in our upcoming videos. So now let's talk about the scoring criteria of repeat sentences questions. To understand the scoring criteria, first of all, let's just understand that we will be getting 10 to 12 questions of repeat sentences in our exam. What I mean by repeat sentences is that you will be listening to a sentence and then you will be speaking that sentence. Therefore, your points are contributed to listening as well as to speaking. Now, per question, we will be getting 13 points. But that doesn't mean that you will be getting 10 questions and you will be getting 130 points, nothing like that. The points will be allotted out of 90. When I talk about 90, total points for listening, they will be 20, and for speaking, you will be given 30 points. 30 points out of 90, that means 1/3 of your total speaking score is decided by repeat sentences questions. Also, now let's talk about the difficulties that most of the students face whenever they are doing repeat sentences questions. The first thing is that they listen to that audio, and after listening to that audio, they are blank. Obviously, they've understood everything, they were able to hear what that speaker said, but when there's their own turn to speak, then they are blank, they are not able to remember it. Second thing which I have heard that many students face is that they are not able to understand the accent, because most of the audios that are being played, they are being done by the native speakers. The accent of the video could be American or Australian, or these kinds of accents, which students, they usually face difficulty to understand that. So we really need to understand that what kind of tips, what kind of tricks we can implement to do these kinds of questions so that we are able to get the good score. So the trick to that actually lies in the scoring criteria, which we are just going to discuss. Alright, so now let's talk about the scoring criteria, because if you will understand the scoring criteria in a better way, you will be able to ace your repeat sentence questions. Firstly, we are getting 5 points for our oral fluency. Now, what is oral fluency? Oral fluency basically means that you need to be super smooth when you're speaking. You should be continuous while you're speaking. You should not fumble in between. You should not actually do these kinds of things. That is, being smooth is defined as oral fluency, and we are getting 5 points for speaking continuously. Moving ahead to pronunciation, that is again giving you 5 points. What I mean by pronunciation is that every word that you are speaking should again be clear. Now let's discuss this pronunciation part in detail. When I teach my students, I have seen that they are speaking the correct sentence. They are actually speaking the correct word, but when they are speaking too slow. The voice is too feeble. And what is actually happening is that you are wearing your headphones at that point of time. When you are wearing your headphones, you will actually not be able to hear yourself, and you will not be able to decide that whether your voice is high or it is low. So you need to speak loudly. This is the basic tip which I want to give to all my students who want to excel or ace their repeat sentence question is to speak loudly. Obviously, I'm not asking you to shout, but I'm asking you to speak loudly. What I mean by speaking loudly is that try to open your mouth when you are speaking rather than just speaking your sentences within your mouth. I have seen students who speak this sentence correctly, but it is within their mouth only, so that it doesn't become clear, and when it is not clear, you are going to lose your 5 points for pronunciation. So make sure that when you are practicing at home, try to practice. Do not find a quiet place to practice, because when you will be giving your exam, other students will also be there along with you, and their voices will also be there. So basically you need to have some kind of distraction. So if you will practice at home at some noisy place, then you will get used to it. And if you will get used to it, so that same environment will be there in your exam as well. Therefore, you won't be facing any issues with the pronunciation. So what I mean by fluency is that you need to be super smooth, you need to be continuous, you should not fumble. And what I mean by pronunciation is that you need to speak clearly. With every word should be clear. You should speak loudly. Your mouth should be open when you are speaking, and there should be focus on every word that you are speaking to get the 5 points for pronunciation. Now talking about the third criteria, which is of content. When I talk about the content, is basically most of the students they find difficulty in content. That is, they are not able to understand, or they are going to forget some part of the sentence. When we talk about content, the content is giving us 3 points. Now let's just see that how we can fetch these 3 points. Even if we do not speak the complete 100% sentence correct, even if we speak 80% of the sentence correct, let's assume that in our sentence we have 10 words, and out of 10 words we have spoken 8 words correct. That means 80% of our sentence. So still we will be able to get 3 on 3 points. So even if you miss some part of it, even if you skip 2 words, that is completely okay. But try to maintain your oral fluency and pronunciation rather than bothering yourself by thinking that, oh, I have missed it. Oh, I forgot that word. Oh, what she said, like that. And now talking about the second thing, even if you speak half of the sentence correct, that is 50% of your sentence correct, you will be able to get 2 points out of 3, which is again not bad. And if you speak 50% means if you even speak 5 words correct out of 10 words that were being given to you. And 25%, if your 25% of the sentence is correct, you will still be able to get 1 point. So now let's understand that what I want to explain my students, that how they can get good score. What most of the students actually do is that they are more focused on this criteria, which is content. They are bothered about it, that oh, we have missed this, oh, we just forgot 50% of the sentence, or we just forgot rest of the sentence. That should actually not bother you. The thing that should bother you, even if you speak the incorrect thing, that is completely okay. The thing that should bother you is oral fluency and pronunciation. What I mean by oral fluency is that even if you speak incorrect sentence, that is completely okay. Even if you speak 50% of the sentence, that is completely okay, because you will be able to at least get 2 points out of 3, rather than actually losing your points for fluency or pronunciation. Now let me explain this to you more. If you lose your points for content, let's assume you forgot half of your sentence, so you are going to get at least 2 points. At least you're getting 2 points even if you forget half of your sentence. But when I talk about, so you will be getting 5 points for your fluency, 5 points for your pronunciation, and 2 points for your content. That means that still you are getting 5, 10 and 12 points out of 30. Whereas if you are not going to put attention on oral fluency, and for example you became nervous and you've started fumbling, that means that you've lost your points for fluency, you've lost your points for pronunciation, a couple of them, and then you are just trying to focus on these 3 points, which is not going to make up to it. So basically what I'm trying to say is that even if you speak the incorrect sentence, try to focus, try to get more points from oral fluency and pronunciation, rather than thinking that, oh, I forgot this sentence and I haven't got points for the content. So now we are going to understand this with the help of an example. I'm going to play one audio for you and I'll explain you that how we can actually do these kinds of questions.
The content of the book on the cover must be in capitals.
Alright, so now what she said is that the content of the book on the cover must be in capitals. Now let's understand the concept. Like I said, that if you will speak 80% of the sentence correct, then also you will be able to get 3 points. Now you know what, I will just give you one sample that if this sentence is gonna come, what most of the students will do in order to recollect it, which is actually not the correct way to do it. Let's assume if any of the students, they're gonna speak the content of the book on the cover must be in capitals. So this is the way that they're going to speak. So now what is happening is that you are covering the content. Undoubtedly that is correct. But what has happened that you have lost your 5 points for fluency and your points for pronunciation. Like not really 5 points, but you have lost some of the points for fluency and some of the points from pronunciation. So you will be getting, let's assume, 2 points for fluency and 2 or 3 points for your pronunciation, just in case if you do that. So now what is the tip? What is the trick? What you should actually do to get full points for oral fluency and pronunciation is that even if you forget the sentence, do not hesitate. Obviously, I understand that you are having exam pressure at that time, you're panicking, there's a lot of noise around you, others are shouting and speaking their answers, there is stress. But what I want you to understand is that do not stress and do not take the pressure of remembering the whole sentence. Rather than that, let's assume that you have skipped this part of your sentence. Let's assume that you have missed the cover must be in capitals. So what you can do is, you don't have to do much. What you can do is the content of the book on the cover, something. Just say that. Not any sentence that makes sense, nothing like that. Just say something with your mouth open, clearly, fluently, loudly, so that you will be able to get 5 points for your oral fluency, 5 points for your pronunciation, and at least 2 points for your content. Because at least you have covered half of the content. So in total, if you do that, what is happening? You're getting 5, 10 and 12. You're getting 12 points out of 13, just in case, even if you forgot this part of the sentence. Now, let's take the opposite scenario. What is happening is that what most of the students do in order to remember this, what they just suffer with the fluency and pronunciation. And if you are doing the way I just did that, the content of the book on the cover must be in capitals. If you do that, what is happening is that let's assume you will be only getting 2 points for your oral fluency, 2 or 3 points points for your pronunciation, and even if you get 3 points for your content. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points out of 30. So it is better that you work on your fluency, you work on your pronunciation, you try to be smooth, you try to be continuous, you try to speak with your mouth open, you try to speak every word correct even if it is incorrect. Try to just replace it by something and try to achieve 12 points out of 13 rather than just focusing on the content and fetching 7 points out of 13 points. But now, let's assume that you forgot one sentence. Let's assume that you forgot the word content. So what you can say is the something of the book on the cover must be in capitals. You really don't have to think that, okay, now what should I speak? It should make sense. Nothing like that. Even if you speak something over here, that is gonna be fine. And do not bother much, because even if 80% of your sentence is correct, you will be able to get 3 out of 3 in the content. Now, I just want to throw some more light on the students who want to fetch 7 each or 8 each in PTE. Then I won't give this suggestion. What I'll try to say is that practice more and more. Practice, first of all, work on your fluency and pronunciation. Become smooth. Try to speak loudly. Every word should be clear. First of all, focus on fluency and pronunciation. And after that, focus on at least getting 50%. That means at least 2 points in your content. And gradually, when you practice and practice, you will be able to make 80% of the sentence correct and you will be able to fetch 3 points. So what I'm trying to suggest over here, what I'm trying to tell you is that try to focus on your oral fluency and pronunciation. Just replace it. For example, if you've skipped capitals, just replace it by something rather than focusing on the content. Focus on oral fluency and pronunciation. So now let's just discuss on the strategies, that what kind of strategies you can implement whenever you're doing repeat sentence questions. Alright, so now the first strategy which I have seen that many students implement is that they try to note down the first initial letter of the sentence. Now these strategies actually vary from student to student. If you think that you're capable enough, if you think that you're good at multitasking, because what is happening is that we're listening to that sentence, and while listening to the sentence, we are noting down the first initial letters of the sentence so that we can speak it later. For example, the content of the book on the cover must be in capitals. So I have written all the first letters, and when you have to speak, you can actually remember or recall after looking at this, and then you can speak. Again, let me put some more light on it. When we follow this strategy, first of all, what I usually observe is that when students try to do this, they get more into writing things rather than listening to the things properly. Now it depends. If you think that this strategy works for you, try it out for yourself. If you think that yes, this works for you, you are able to remember it, then you can go for it. One more thing I want to add, that as soon as the audio will stop, just after 3 seconds, you have to speak the sentence. If you have to speak the sentence after 3 minutes, just after 3 seconds, that means that you should be super quick with this. And what I've seen is that most of the students, they're still writing this, they're still writing the first letter, and the time, after the 3 seconds, they have already ended. So try it for yourself. If you think you're good at multitasking, if you think that you're able to remember, if you think that you can write it along with that, just go for this method. Or else, what I'll suggest you to do it, that understand the meaning of the sentence. Understand the meaning of the sentence and then try to comprehend it, and when that time is gonna get over, that 3 seconds time is gonna get over, then you can actually speak that sentence. So what I'm trying to say is that try to implement that what works best for you. And also after that, what you can also implement is to get more points for content and pronunciation that I've already mentioned, that you try to focus first on content and pronunciation, on oral fluency and pronunciation, and then we'll work on the content of it. So replace the words that you forgot with something. So just replace it by something, so that at least you are able to get points for the content and for the oral fluency and for the pronunciation. So now, Apart from these strategies, I want to generally tell that practice is what is required. Do forget these strategies, just practice. Now talking about practice, at least practice 20 questions every day of repeat sentence. Why? First of all, it is giving you 50 points, 20 points to your listening and 30 points, 1/3 chunk to your speaking. That means these are super important questions. So try to practice at least 20 questions for 2 to 4 weeks if you are planning to get good points in your PT. I will just end this video over here. I'll just give you the basic tips. Try to work on your fluency, try to speak smoothly, try to speak continuously, do not fumble, do not get nervous, do not panic, and do not do try to speak with open mouth. All these, try to keep these strategies in your mind and do not panic when you're giving your exam. And after that, when you're practicing, when you'll practice, then work on the content. First of all, work on your fluency and your pronunciation. And those of you who are aiming to get 7 each or 8 each, definitely you need to work on your content as well, but try to do it in chunks. First of all, try to at least cover 50% of the sentence and then cover 80% of the sentence. So I hope that this video was helpful to you. I'll end this video over here. You can like this video if you really appreciate my efforts, and I will be coming with new videos where I will be explaining all the different types of questions from PTE. If you're interested to learn about IELTS and PTE, I'm gonna mention my number in the description box. You can take it from there or from here as well. You can check my Instagram and my Facebook. I upload my videos over there on daily basis. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you soon in my next video.